Okay, so starting up where we were now.
Like old times.
So you end up
Cast
just
and
pushing out the
TP
wave
top.
here and backing.
Casted and backed and TP'd. Okay, nice. He got his
If I remember correctly, though,
okay,
you
these guys are
don't
actually bad.
actually
I'm
get
not
it
gonna
all the
lie.
way into tower.
No, we don't.
I
Yeah.
wanted to. Oh,
And
careful,
like
mid.
you can be
And I'm trying
autoing
to
these
remember
casters here
why.
as well, just to help get it
1
in
HP.
Oh,
quicker. It's like the wave
1
gets
HP. He has no.
there
oh, he's gonna remount
We end
to
the.
up
keep the
backing
casters
here.
off the
He
tower.
just
So yeah,
stayed in.
and you end up backing. And if I remember, the Zaya gets double
Oh, he
longsword plus
remounted.
boots
I'm so
here,
fucked.
I'm
and
TPing
you
again,
get
yeah.
boots pink.
Okay,
Maybe
let
you
me
get
just
double
catch a
pink.
couple of these. I can hit four.
Yeah,
I
you should get
get
double pink.
boots double
I think
pink.
Yep.
any of the melees. If you kill any of the melees, I get four.
Okay.
With that kind of gold, the only other possibility would be to buy like a rejuve bead or something, and this ain't that lane.
There is another option with that type of gold, but I'll get to that later when I talk about builds.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. So here's my next node at 350 here. This is just when you back. So you're back on the map, but you handed Kaisa a freeze. Like that lane there, you just handed her a lot of minions to work with, so she can freeze that lane if she wants to. And a CS lead. Like if you look, she's up to CS now, but she probably has another 6 sitting in front of her. So that's gonna be a 5 to 10 CS lead if she gets them all. So BNJ gets boots, double longsword, or 1,000 gold worth of stuff. Like, yes, this is fine, but ideally you freeze on the Kaisa, maybe get a kill, then properly crash the wave, and BNJ comes back with BF sword and boots, but has a 10 CS lead at 5 minutes, right? And possibly a second kill, right? Like, imagine. Yeah, so this is like the alternative. Like, so the alternative to pushing it there is you freeze it, you deny some farm from Kaisa, you maybe get her flash, maybe get a kill. Um, Maybe not, and even if you don't, it's fine. But you can freeze on her, you can stay in lane for a couple more waves, and BNJ can back and get a full BF sword, which would be huge for you. And if you have a CS lead, and you can force a mirrored back, so if you back at 1300, but you have a CS lead, and you have a kill lead, the Kaisa's, if she also backs at the same time, you force her to back at the same time, she's not going to have 1300. So she's going to be the one coming back with this awkward, like, semi-partial, like, components of components type of buy here. So that's just kind of like the theory behind that. But yeah, so, okay.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense actually.
Also, this is the other thing that I never see you do, but it's something that I do a lot, and I think it's really impactful. And I was really happy because I wrote this, and like right as I was writing it, I saw something, like something happens that like would have been a direct benefit to your team if you had done what I was just describing you to do. So it's like, oh wait, this is a perfect example then. But so also on your way back to the lane, go and
Mm-hmm.
drop a pink brush or a pink word in dot brush. Right. So like just do
Okay.
what I call is I call it like I'm gonna do a drive by mid is essentially what I call it. So like
Okay.
I'm just gonna do a drive by mid, come down. And the important thing here as well is given the lane state right now, you don't necessarily need to be in lane right now. Like, she's bad and she's pushing out the wave to back. I think she backs and gets like pickaxe boots. I don't remember for sure. But like, you're not needed in lane like that extra 5 seconds earlier. So what I do is I just walk down the mid lane until I get to like here and then just go and drop one. Or if I'm
Now, so
blue
this is
side,
my
I go
question,
through here.
and this is
Hmm.
a serious question.
Yeah.
And I know you said that there's an example of this.
Yes.
What's the virtue of that ward versus saving the pink for lower river control, essentially?
Um.
Because
Essentially,
and
it's
this is not so like don't you can't see my mouse, right? But like using that pink
like right
over
here.
but no, well no,
Or
I hate
here.
that bush. And I like the tri bush, but
Okay.
the one that I'm thinking about is the bush to the left of Krugs.
This one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. That one's really good. But
So like
the
is
important
there
thing for me,
yeah.
you have two pinks,
Okay.
right? So you can drop one here, and ideally, right, like your ADC maybe has 75 gold for a pink as well. If you want like bot side jungle control, you can have him, right? Like if you properly crash a wave and then you both can go and drop one together, something like that,
Right.
you can do that. That's also an option as well. But also, even if he doesn't do that, you can drop this one here as a blanket. And even if I'm not dropping a ward here, after I back, I like to always do a drive by mid. Unless they're crashing a wave at bot and I need to be bot to catch that XP, I always like to do a drive by mid if I can. Because it doesn't take that much longer. Like you're going straight to here versus going straight to here. It's a little bit of a curve. It's gonna take you maybe 5-10 more seconds. But um in terms of like timings, the benefit of it is your proximity to mid lane, right? So like if anything happens mid lane, that's huge for you. Also, the benefit of that ward specifically is that it gives your mid laner a lot of protection, right? Like that just completely frees up the entire bot side river as a place he can hug, right? Like he can hover towards bot side if he has that pink there, because he knows that that's a safe side, and he will see a gank coming from there if he needs to.
Right.
So for me, um, taking that path and dropping that ward is about getting the good vision, because like it's pretty easy for you to get vision in bot side of river
Right.
just because of your proximity there, but getting it also in the top of the spot side river is very helpful for your mid laner. Also, having that proximity for mid means that if there is like the possibility of a play, you can be there for it. If you want to call for a 3-man, or if someone's ganking, you can be the one counter ganking, or you can bring two people to counter gank.
Right. Right.
Rather than instead, you'll see it here soon. That's exactly what happens here. But yeah, that proximity to mid lane
Oh, you picked up
is
one.
just it's very nice to have that extra impact on the map that you don't have by just walking
I'm gonna
through
work
the
toward
lane.
here, by the way. I'm gonna back and reset.
Like we'll see
It's
what
okay.
happens here in
Can
just one
we be low?
second.
He has no sums, right?
But okay, so let's see here on the map. You're right here. If you had
Mm-hmm.
mocked down mid lane, you're just about to tower, right? Like here to here is
Okay.
probably about honestly it's probably about right behind tower. Or if you do the route that I do, you're in like this bush right now. Okay? You're in that
Right.
bush and going down.
Look.
Freddy's here. You are a part of this play, right? Like you are right
Oh,
there. You're
shield.
coming up through here. You can E onto
Too
Azir,
far.
E Trundle, get a W knockup on Kled.
Oh,
But yeah,
too far away.
it's like watching the Kled walks out barely. Like
He's
he
gonna pop
barely
his
walks
cannon.
out, and it's like if you're there, that Kled dies, type of thing.
Right.
Which is why I think this is such a great example, because it's like I can talk about it, but like if there's no practical use of it, who cares? But
Right.
that's why I was glad that because yeah, there's a great
That makes
example
sense.
of it right there. And the other big thing too is I know you don't use your pinks very often. Like I think I remember it
I
takes you a long
sit.
time to drop it.
I sit on pinks
Hmm.
way too much.
Yeah. And also the possibility, so even if nothing happens there, you can also do a drive by here, put a pink here, and then like run through here and just put like a yellow ward or
Yeah.
something in here. Drop one over in the Krug pit. I love that ward. Just drop one in
Yes.
Krugs, or like drop one right by their red buff or something and
I
come
love
back to lane.
by the red buff, but yeah. I'm
I'm
just
gonna
gonna
back
let
and
it get
But
low
let's
reset.
see.
though.
Okay, so here's my next node is at 4:30. So you get to lane and they have a freeze. It's about to push to you, so yeah. Let's see. Oh, where is it? Okay. So it's about to push to you, so take this time to ward try since you're about to lose priority. They have no pinks or sweeper in their inventory. Like you press tabbed on your way back to lane while you had vision of them, and you can see that they don't have any pinks or a sweeper yet. So any ward you put in try will stay for now. So you don't have to worry about them pinking it and getting rid of it. Also, this gives you a lot of safety. Um, with like the pink and the dot bush. Like so imagine you had walked down here,
That
put this one
yeah.
here, and put like even if you just walk down the river and put a yellow right in here, they can't gank you from through try. They can't gank you from down the river. Like you just have so much safety in the bot lane now with them about to hand the wave back to you on your side that it's like yeah, it's just a very good ward knowing that they can't clear it right now. Also, you have 2 stacks of it, so it's like, put that thing on cooldown.
I'm getting
Yeah.
Cinder Hulk after this.
Because I want them to shove
You
into
guys
us.
need to
Okay,
push into
my
you. Push
next
into you so I can game
one
bot again.
I'm
is
gonna get
at
this cannon.
5:30
There we
is
go.
my next note. Yeah, so this is just gonna be the waves are gonna do the waves thing,
Nice
and you
work.
guys
Really
do
good
it really
job, man.
good to call out to let the wave push to you. Freddy's gonna
You
look
guys
for a
let him
gank
push
here
into
in a
your
little
gank
bit
right
and
now.
can get a dragon off of
Level
it as
4 right
well.
now. I'm a little bit behind of him, but if you get a kill bot, we could go Drake.
The
Yeah.
wave's shoving into us. So
Oh yeah, stay in XP range. Like you don't need to be dancing around here. The important thing is like they should recognize that they're pushing it in, so they want to get it in, right? But
Mhm.
if you stand kind of like in this bush and like threaten a little bit, A, you don't miss XP, but also B, um, they have to be a little bit more hesitant about trying to hard push the lane in. Because like if they come up here and like say the Kaisa cues the wave and then the Nautilus comes and like ease the wave or something, and that's 2 big spells right there. So they have to think about that. It's like we just lost a lot of our damage. What's stopping this Rakan from just going in and maybe not necessarily like killing me, but trading onto me really hard
and
type of thing.
there's that fun ability that Khan has called the battle dance.
Oh yeah. Wait,
Like
what's
there
that?
is
Is that new?
that
Is that in the new
I
patch or
think it's a
something?
new thing that they added this patch, right? Oh man, I'm not happy with
Sets
this
here.
game.
Sets mid.
I also contextually for the recording, at this point in time, I had not played with BNJ in over 3 weeks.
Okay. See that adds some more context to it. So yeah.
Yeah,
So they
contextually,
hand
this
you
is.
this wave. This is great.
I don't
You
know
know
about
they don't
vision,
have vision up
but
the river because they were locked under tower for a
they know.
while.
No.
They know.
Actually, they did have one. I remember now. They had a ward like
This
kind
is
of right
it's
here.
right there.
Yeah.
It's my favorite spot. Like that's my favorite spot.
Yeah, because it
Sure.
any pink here doesn't catch it,
Nope. They
which
have
is nice.
wards. I need a control
Yep,
ward.
and
You
not
can
only
drop
that,
one.
I get
Where do you
vision
want
of
it?
both the river and the tri-bush off of
Where
one
do you want
ward.
the control ward?
Need this
Oh yeah.
warrior
Also,
here.
this
I'm gonna
is
clear with
huge
this.
right here. Remember that massive wave that they were pushing into you?
Uh-huh.
You just missed all of the XP from it,
Okay.
which is gonna
I'm gonna go
Yeah,
vastly
that was the
reduce.
ward right
Like
there.
if I'm Rakan, I am
Go.
super
No,
duper
it's
greedy
there.
about getting XP and stuff until I'm level
Alright,
6.
I'm gonna look
Once I'm level
to bot
6,
now,
like
guys.
I'm like,
There's
all
the
right, I'm good. You know what,
You
BNJ,
just
you
have
can have
to.
solo farm for the
Okay.
next 20 minutes. I don't care
Went by okay.
because I have my
That's
level
good as well.
6, and that's
Yep.
all I need.
We're gonna look to play for the Drake though.
Oh yes, 5:30. I had a note here. So they recall, um, but don't get the wave all the way into tower. Just kind of like how you didn't, right? Like just
We
how
can freeze
you
it.
didn't get it all the way into tower, you didn't push it in properly. They didn't either. So you should freeze this wave right here. Like the other one might have been a little bit harder to freeze just because you had 4 casters and the following wave wasn't going to get there long enough. Like if you here, okay. So let's go back. Imagine in your minds here, they have 4 casters right here as your wave dies, right? And they're backing off. The casters end up getting to about here when they meet your incoming wave. If you had instead held the casters up here and tanked them longer, that means that essentially, so like their wave gets here and then it's a while before their wave comes and meets it, which means that those casters die pretty quickly and you're not able to freeze it. If you had pulled those casters like up here, their assisting wave comes in to back them up
Okay.
sooner, which means that some of them live. Like the 4 casters die very, very quickly. They do more damage, but they also have a lot less health. So having something in front of them, getting something to getting your wave to aggro onto something other than the enemy casters is what you need to do to essentially stop it and make it able
Tonight
to freeze.
is not the night, but I need you to sit down with me at some point and help me learn to recognize the signs of a freeze.
Yeah.
When not even when I should or
Yeah, not when
when
you
my enemy
should, but like
should or shouldn't.
objectively when it is
Objectively,
freezing.
how can how is the lane
How
freezing?
to produce a freeze.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another night we can like go into practice tool and
And
I can like
BNJ
actually
can
show
right.
you how to
And
freeze.
BNJ knows how to do it given the situations. His question seems to be more of should we?
Hmm.
Does that make sense? So like
Yeah.
but first for me before I can understand the should or shouldn't, I need to just be able to pay attention to the moments that it's even possible because I don't know when it's possible.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, like I said at the beginning of this, I'm gonna throw a lot at you, a
Mhm.
lot of theory as well, and just a lot of stuff like that. Oh yeah, you didn't get this BNJ, but essentially, I made Leper agree that he recognizes that A, I love you, and I mean all of every criticism, advice I give is to help you get better, and I only want you to listen to the stuff that you want to listen to, essentially. Like it's all for you. Take whatever you want, leave whatever you want. I don't expect you to retain most of it. I don't expect you to retain even some of it. So this is like this is your thing. So take what you want. Um, don't like feel like you're gonna be quizzed on it later. You know, like I'm doing this for you. I hope that, and I hope in the hope that it helps you. Um, and I'm recording them as well, just so you can come back to them because I
I
do
don't
want to
know.
make them really dense with
I don't know
material.
if you saw the chat, but he just responded with I've been writing down some notes.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, yeah, yes, good. But yeah, so this is a perfect time to freeze here because but like, so that other case with the four casters, essentially the theory is you hold it closer to the middle so that their wave gets to the meeting point sooner, so their casters don't die as quickly. Um, and yeah, and that way you could have freeze that better. But this one, like that one, it's like that one's harder to freeze in that situation. Like you have to know that and recognize that maybe you need to hold it farther away from the tower so their wave gets there sooner, so for it to freeze properly. But this one, they handed you like 6 or 7 casters and a couple melees or something ridiculous like that. Like it was a huge wave and they failed to get it into tower, which is huge for y'all. But yeah, that one, this is definitely the time to freeze that. Um, you don't, especially given how big that wave was as well. Um, like it's gonna be really hard to push it all the way back out and crash it, to the extent that if you push it out and crash it, she probably doesn't actually miss any XP or minions because it takes so long. Given the position of the wave, like how far up the lane it was and how big it was, that she doesn't actually miss any minions or XP. So this is another example where if you just freeze it here and then play the zoning game, she probably ends up missing about a wave and a half before she even gets back to lane, simply based alone off of the fact that this is a huge extra distance. Like if you think of it, her journey is 1, 2, 3, essentially. So we'll call it 3 segments of equal length for her journey from fountain back to her tower. This adds an extra segment on it. Like it increases her travel distance like by like 35% or something. So just based off that alone, she'll miss a lot of CS and experience off of that. And the fact that you could freeze it and zone her out means that she should miss even more, essentially. But yeah, so that's the theory behind it. But this is a great time to freeze right here. Um, and it puts you in a gankable position. With your Trundle on the bot side, he can go Wolves, Grump, and then look for a gank into Dragon. Like freezing here is just a really good option, I feel. Yeah. So my next note is at
Okay, so we
six
just don't need to
minutes.
swap.
Yep.
We're gonna look to
Um.
play for the streak though.
Oh yes, this was I believe, a very large blunder
Ooh,
as well. So let's see
I'm
what you're
gonna
gonna do.
get some warding.
I'm gonna go get some warding. That is wrong. Um, your second wave just got there. So this is the proper way to crash is you want to build up a wave, and as soon as a second wave gets there, delete that wave. So essentially, if we look back here, this is your one wave, right? So if you wanted to crash this, you have your one wave. you have it meet. It's a cannon
I'm
wave, which
gonna
means the
get
next
some
one
warding.
isn't. So importantly, they don't have a cannon coming. So that's going to meet this one at the middle, but you have a second wave coming. So you have like a wave and a half advantage right here. So what you want to do then is delete that wave as quickly as you can, and the minions help a lot with that, which is why you need that second one, because doing it on your own early in the game, you can't do it quick enough on your own, which is why you need the minion advantage to help crash it, which is why you didn't properly crash it earlier, was because you were pushing without a minion advantage, so you weren't able to push quick enough. And that's the same reason they weren't able, was they were pushing without, a minion advantage there. Like they had some, but they didn't like do it right essentially, so they didn't get it all the way in. Because you have a short amount of time to get it into the tower essentially before this next wave gets there. But so what you should do here is, if you've committed to crashing it, is come just like W the casters or something and just like make sure this gets into the tower, and then you've just crashed a massive wave into the tower. And she probably loses some CS. I think she'll be back for XP, but she'll miss some CS just because she's farming under tower with still not a lot of attack speed. Like she'll either come back with attack speed or she'll come back with AD. She can't have both. Um, but yeah, instead you go to ward. But instead, what you should do is clear that wave um, super hard, because by going up here, you've also decided that BNJ is going to solo push it, which is going to take him a long time, and he's not going to be able to properly crash it. And you're going to miss even more XP. Like, you've already missed a lot of XP. You want to get to level 6 very quickly. So this is just going on the same point of, you want to get to level 6. Recon Alt is an amazing, huge, incredible impact. And like wherever you
That I
use
do
it, it's
not
going to
use
have a lot of
effectively.
impact.
So yeah.
But yeah. So he has to solo push it, which means it's not going to get into tower on time. And they can even like, they might be able to get back there to pull it, so they can freeze it as well. I'm not sure.
Oh
Here,
no, you're
But yeah,
there's
so
a
you
Leper
say you're
Drake
going to go up
actually
and
right now. Just
ward.
shove out
So
the
you
wait,
pink
Leper
that.
Drake.
I would not pink that. Because you're not going to be able, especially if you're looking up for dragon right now, you're not going to have the lane presence to maintain this, like to defend this, if that makes sense.
it does.
So instead, you can just drop a yellow ward and hold on to your super expensive pink ward, right? Like, so if you just drop a yellow here and then go drop a pink in the pit if you're gonna try and take this or something, or maybe Freddy's backed with a sweeper and you have a pink right here, and he can just sweep this, Um, but yeah. Also, what you can do is, I'm sure BNJ has 2 stacks on his yellow ward. I'm pretty sure he hasn't used any of them. Maybe he used one early in the game, but he should have 2 of them. So if you help him delete that wave, then you, Zaya, and Trundle can walk as 3 with push in mid and just absolutely light up this jungle. If that makes sense. Like, you can basically make this your Christmas tree. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. With your wards, Zaya's wards, Trundle's wards, and Azir rotating in case there's some type of fight, he'll have priority over the Kled to make it a 4v3, assuming their jungle and bot lane comes. But yeah,
Drake.
that's what I would do. Delete that wave with Zaya. All 3 of you can walk through and get like a yellow here, a pink here, a yellow here, and like a yellow, or like, I love the pink bush right here because no one walks through that bush. Like, that will stay for a long time as well. Or even just do a yellow there or something. But you get the idea. Is you can just
Yeah.
make this massive ring, so if he walks anywhere into his jungle, you know about it.
Let
You
me
guys
know if you want to
over
TP.
here?
Just
but
call
instead
it
you
out.
drop that pink there,
Yep,
and then
I'll drop the
immediately
other one
move
here.
it
They have
into
no
the
vision
pit
of it. Yeah, I felt
as
dumb
well.
about that. I felt
Um,
real dumb about that.
oh yeah, and the other thing too now is, like, given this situation, I don't think you've seen the jungler in a while. Just drop a pink over the back of the pit here. And even if he's gonna come in and steal it, what I would do as well is, if there's a blast cone, W over the wall, pop the blast cone, come back in, which means that he has to commit his flash if he wants to come in and steal this, and that means he can't blast cone in, steal it, flash out. you know?
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
it's just taking away the resources from them. Just taking away as much, you know, utility with the blast cones, using every scryer's bloom you can, whether it's taking away their vision, taking away their information, taking away their gold, income, um, anything that you can take away from them is going to be a benefit to you. And it's going to be even more of a detriment to them. Like the person with the extra 300 gold is not gonna feel as much better as the person without it is gonna feel bad, if that makes sense. Like the person who doesn't
Yes.
get it is gonna feel worse than you feel
With
better.
yeah.
I don't know how to word that, but you get the idea.
I get the idea. Yeah.
It goes along with the same principle of vision denial is more important than vision gain. But yeah. Let's see. Where's my next note? My next note is at 6:30. So you take the first Drake, good, but it happens just as quickly, and you get XP towards level 6 if you push bot with Zaya. Okay, so yeah, that's just reiterating again.
Yeah.
Like I didn't write that, I don't think, in my notes. I just like thought of it as I was going over them. So this is my first time mentioning it, but like push that wave with Zaya, get that XP, get you closer towards
Mhm.
level 6. Um, and if you do that, Zaya and you both come up quicker. Like it doesn't even delay this dragon take at all.
I don't have much
It
mana,
might even
but
happen
yeah, we can.
quicker because the Zaya gets up here sooner for the extra DPS.
Shuffle. Try to shuffle him. Try to shuffle him.
Let's see. Oh yes, this was really sad. I like myself was frustrated for you watching this. Um, but like we'll just watch it here. So you just like right keep
God
Wait,
damn it.
fight him,
pathing,
fight him,
kick
fight him, fight him,
W.
fight him.
Yeah, that
Focus,
was.
focus him, focus him. Now him,
Oh
now we
man,
look to him,
I
right?
felt so
Good
bad
job.
about that.
He has no shield, he has no
Oh,
shield.
yeah. So a couple things. Either one, click closer to your champ just to make sure weird pathing around walls things doesn't happen, or just click once.
Okay.
Either thing solves the problem. Another way to solve that problem is, let's see, let's back it up.
Try to shuffle him,
Just
try to
walk
shuffle him.
forward until you can E onto Trundle maybe. Or at this point, even if you recognize, you're having weird pathing, just E onto the Zaya to get closer as well. Like just
Okay.
using that for mobility, to have more reach around in the fights around the map. That's the third thing that could help this problem as well. Um,
So now this was not a joke. I'm not. I understand what you're about to say, right?
yeah.
Because not only do I tend to have this pathing issue frequently, because I do click very far away from my character and repeated.
hmm
I also have a tendency when I am moving down left of dying as a result of clicking my minimap.
Down left or down right?
Down right.
Oh,
You
I
know
do
what I
that
meant.
too.
Yeah.
I also have
So
those
my
same.
serious question, this was not a joking question. Do you think that there is a benefit to playing locked and learning F keys?
Um, it's up to you. I think playing locked is the easier way to learn F keys. I don't think you have to play locked to learn F keys. Like
Well, I need to learn F keys, but yeah.
but if
Okay.
you want to learn, if you really want to learn F keys, yes, do that. Force yourself to use the F keys rather than clicking on the map to move, your screen. Or if you want to make yourself to learn F keys as well, you can just turn off your map. Like make it so you can't click on the map. I don't like that because I like to click on my map to move to places
I
often.
do too. I
Which
if
is why like I'm more hesitant to like say that, but like that's another option if you don't want to like force yourself to
it,
play locked to
from
learn F
experience,
keys.
that's even weirder. Like
Yeah.
it causes more issues not being able to click on the map.
hmm Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, if
Okay.
you
It was just
yeah.
a thought, and it's not just for that. It's a suggestion that I have also been given by other people to learn more minute character manipulation
Yeah.
in the sense of dodging skill shots and so on. Since my character is always in the same place, it's easier to make minute dodges and so
hmm
on.
Yeah.
I mean, not trying to like name drop and say that he's the greatest thing ever, but that was from Glaceon suggested that. that's a big way that he dodges things and avoids things in lane,
Mhm.
or at least
Is
that's how he
locked.
learned it. Was playing locked and really focusing on clicking very close to his character.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Playing locked is definitely a good way to learn to click closer to your character because you can't click this far away. Like if you're playing locked, you can't click all the way up here, and this
Yeah.
problem doesn't happen, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, so that's definitely a way to learn to click closer to your character.
because I need to get better at character control.
Yeah. And what I do is I press space a lot. Like I don't play locked, I play unlocked,
I
and you'll see it a lot. But I press space to come back to myself to always click near me. I think
okay.
I personally think I do a good job at clicking near myself, and I'm really good at dodging skill shots generally. Um, but that's my solution essentially. Is I press space to come back to myself. Like I don't move my screen. Generally, when I move my screen, I'm never off of it unless I'm looking somewhere. Like I won't move my screen with my mouse somewhere else. Like I will always be somewhere on my screen unless I'm clicking on the map to go look at somewhere, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So for me, it's like I move my screen a little bit to look somewhere and then I press space to come back to myself, click next to myself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it kind of can look a little erratic, but that's what I do. Um, But yeah, so here, yeah, so okay. So either click closer to your champ or click only once, yada yada. Oh, your pathing got mega fucked. Also, your E has 2 charges. Use them. Don't be afraid to lead with E to get into W range. So we'll watch this fight play out again,
God
Wait,
damn it.
fight him, fight him, fight him, fight him, fight
and
him.
I'll read through it again. But yeah,
Focus.
so like, we'll see. Even with the
God
Focus.
damn
pathing
it.
Fight him,
messed
fight
up,
him, fight him, fight him, fight him.
your E is so good at helping you recover from that. So like, you could
Right.
E to Zaya here, E to Trundle, knock up him, right? And
Yeah.
that happens in like an instant.
Yeah.
Instead, you like walk over
Focus
here,
him, focus
walk
him.
over
Now
here.
him, now we look to
Azir
him, right?
almost dies, and
He
this
has
is the
no shield,
first
he has no...
time your teammate almost dies after with you having 2 procs
I'm
of E
sure the
still.
first of many.
Also, you had
Uh,
Guardian up as well. It's only
yeah.
about like 4, I think, 3 or 4. But yeah,
It's still 4 too many.
So this one, you get it, the idea, you know.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to Eon. I'm not sure if it's something you do in every game because I haven't like I need to watch another Rakan game of yours. But in this game, you E onto 0 people other than Zaya in the entire game.
This was just
So I'm not sure if like you
I
only
can't
want to use
say
max range or what, but
I can't say exactly what it is in this game. I just did not feel comfortable on the champion.
okay, that makes sense.
That's part that's part of the reason that I wanted to play it,
Hmm.
right? Is I've been putting a lot of time into other things and I
Yeah,
really wanted to play it.
okay,
And
that
I'm
makes sense.
seeing
And to be fair, watching your Nami game, watching your POV, I was very like pleasantly surprised, I guess, and how like I didn't know how much time and like how your Nami was getting, but I thought you played that lane really well.
I've been putting way more time into Nami than any other champion right
I
now.
was very happy with your trading patterns and how you did your trades. I thought they were and like some things, some small mechanical things, like just like trying to smash animations together with like E auto, W auto, right? To just get
Yeah.
all that like that I'm not too concerned with, but like your general like sense of when to trade and like how to do it to maximize your damage output, I thought was really good, and I was very happy with that. So
Side question, do you think the nerfs are going to be really affect the way that I play Nami at all?
no, I don't,
Okay.
because people don't play Nami for her passive. I'm gonna be
Her
honest.
passive's huge.
Her
I think
passive
it's
is very nice for running down people outside of team fights and repositioning, but that minus 15 movement speed, I don't think is going to be very noticeable. And the other things seem just more like they're rounding things down.
I
Like,
mean
what is it? You have like minus 10 base health and base mana, I
something
think.
like that. Yeah.
Something like that. And it's because it was at like 477.65, and it's like they're now
It's a
realizing that's
nerf.
stupid, and they've been rounding it out for like all the champions over the past
Yeah.
couple patches. But
It's a nerf directed at reducing her OP-ness and play rate in low elo is
mhm,
basically what it is, and that's going to be enough of a nerf for that.
yeah, yeah, because it does hinder
'Cause
her
it's
like
not gonna-
chase down potential.
Yeah, it's not gonna just. It's just gonna feel slightly worse than before, and that's enough for some people.
Yeah, it will feel slightly worse, and it will be, in the sense as well, a little less forgiving. Just
Oh
because
no!
having the
Put
movement
put
speed.
10 more games on it, and I'm gonna forget all about it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a huge thing. I think Nami's
Okay.
going to be just fine still in low elo for people who know how to play her. Because people who know how to play her aren't playing around her passive movement speed.
No.
So, but yeah. Let's see. But yeah, so you
But I
don't.
need to be putting more time back onto this guy too. Like we've talked about the reasoning for that. So.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so he almost died from getting flashed on at the tail end of the fight. If you had eat him, uh, that would have been on. If he had died, that would have been on you. Overall, though, good map play. But yeah, I thought that was really good though to rotate up to that play. Just in general, just some of the execution a little off, but the idea behind it, I want to commend you for because that was a really good play to go up there for that.
Shield.
Let's
You
back
can
to
tell
the
too
game.
that they were
My
not
pathing got fucked
expecting
there.
that.
That's on me.
Oh no,
That's
they
That
were
would have
not.
been much
that,
much
that,
cleaner.
that fight was actually I almost fucked it up. That was my bad.
No, I wasn't in that the entire time, so like
Alrighty,
I could
let's
have done
see.
it much better.
We got the kills.
Okay.
Zero, you might need a back soon.
Yeah,
You're back after this, right? Yeah.
Next
yeah.
note is at
What gold
7:15.
bar are you at? Like, what are you getting?
1500.
All right, here we go. Okay, so another chance to freeze here. And then I also note at this point, I'm only going to mention when you had a chance to freeze instead of continuing to go into detail every time. You're currently down. You tabbed just a second ago, but you're currently down 5 CS to Kaisa. This really shouldn't happen, bar just like not being able to last hit. So like assuming that you can last hit minions, which I know BNJ can, you shouldn't be down CS right now. Like honestly, you should be up 10 to 15 with your kills and all these chances to freeze. But yeah, so here, this is just a
Lost
chance
chapter?
to freeze because you could like
I'm gonna
hold
just
those minions
clear.
off the tower right here,
I'll stop
which you
going.
do.
Good.
But you can, instead of hitting that
I
cannon,
mean,
you
he's
could
got
I
a.
walk
want you,
further towards this
want you,
bush to
instead of
get it,
building the
make it
next
pull
component
outside of turret range.
of
But yeah,
Sunfire,
there's a
build
chance to
into
freeze there.
Abyssal. No, he could go
It
to
probably
Abyssal.
wouldn't be the best of
Abyssal.
freezes,
Abyssal
so it
Mask,
wouldn't
yeah.
like
Abyssal just
last
nicer.
Yeah.
You could go
as
yeah,
long,
you could
but
go
it still would have
Spectral
lasted a
after it,
couple
right?
waves,
Obviously, but like
which would have
Abyssal's
been
just so nice.
detrimental. And assuming you had gotten XP, you'd have 6 and kill threat on this level for Nautilus while you have flash and ignite. Grr. Feel my wrath. Grr. Yeah. Get
Alright, we're
XP,
looking
sir.
to gank bot maybe soon, but I need to
Alright.
get my blue.
You can be zoning her
reset,
now
and
too.
then I have 6.
Yes.
I could lick bot.
I
Just
don't
'cause
have the sweeper, so I
I've-
can't clear.
I can't remember.
unfortunately.
Actually, I don't
don't
know if you
super either,
have
unfortunately. Shit.
item
Okay.
advantage. You
try,
might
let's
just
try
have
it.
like
We can try if you
matched
want to
item.
take the time.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I think
pickaxe
it's
versus
just, I
double
don't know about the
longsword,
vision
so
or
it's
anything like
essentially
that.
even.
I got you.
But yeah,
And the waves shoving into them,
let's see.
unless they
Yeah,
shove
so
it
I
hard
just need to
here.
look to clear.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
actually,
they
with
shove it
that,
hard
with
here,
that
and I
proc,
know just another
it's gonna
chance
shove into
to
us possibly. Yeah, it's
Oh,
shoving into us
actually, yeah,
now.
actually, wait.
another chance to freeze. Also, I said a note in comms: you are looking for a bot gank. What makes bot ganks easier than having a freeze right side of out of your turret when you're on the red side of the map?
No, not a lot of things.
Not a lot of things.
Not a lot of
Wait,
things.
wait,
So
you-
like
you
this
guys
is
are
just
explaining a
another
little bit,
perfect
then.
time
Just
to
need
freeze,
Them being
especially since you're
blind?
talking about,
I'm
wanting to
kinda
gank.
low. I could link.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
want to freeze it there, like you kind of you're keeping the wave on your half, but you kill the melees, which is the important thing. And freezes are all about casters and keeping casters alive. So by not having those melees to sit in front of them until the next red wave gets here, means that you won't be able to freeze because these are just gonna die.
Run up. I'm going
Especially
towards you.
since it's a
You can fight
cannon
this if
wave.
you need to.
They just die really quickly.
You want
And
me
so
to-
instead of a freeze, you have a
Yeah.
slow push.
Yeah,
They
we're
have
good.
vision.
They have vision. It's fine.
Okay.
We thought they had vision. I just
That's tough.
after this cannon,
Fine.
I will. I can. My quest is done, so I can
You can
buy.
also look mid
What's
again.
my next note?
I have
940.
That's the big thing.
Yeah,
I
okay.
guess we're gonna
So
be
now we're
playing
just
for
chilling.
too.
We'll have all our
940.
Just do it. Just shuffle him.
This Cassidon's not good. He doesn't know how to play him.
I got you.
Just shove this out.
Alright, so this is, if you want to shove it out, this is a perfect time,
Really?
right? Like just what I talked about earlier. Great, this is how you shove it out. You got the wave in, the waves meet in the middle, and now you have your second one coming in when they have their second one coming in, but their first one is dead. So that's the
Okay.
perfect time. Just W these, E out to safety. So like it's not that dangerous to just W these casters just to push it in.
Look to pressure Rip Curl now. Can you move with me?
Also, you
He's
chill
here.
around in the
They're all
alcove
here,
a
by the
lot,
way.
and honestly, I wouldn't. I would chill in the bushes more, just because you're so far away that you lose XP, and you're like not there to like punish immediately on anything.
Yeah.
In a sense.
I'm gonna flash
It
out,
was
by the way.
just a
I'm good.
this game thing. I don't
I'm
know.
back after this.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna back and reset.
So
It's not
instead
something-
here
It should be a
of
good buy.
hard pushing,
Let's do
you
it.
do it incorrectly and hand them a freeze, and they're able. That's the other thing as well. When you delete that wave, walk it into tower. Like walk menacingly at them, and give them a mean look, and make them not be able to. Like if they want to pull this wave over here, make them like go to hell and back for it and take a lot of chunk for it. And honestly, even risk dying. Like if Kaisa wants to try and pull this wave out here, outside of turret range, key note, outside of turret range, you have R, W, flash, ignite. You have everything. You can honestly look to just kill her and make her back. If she, yeah. But that's just another side note as well. On top of pushing it hard at the right time is also making sure it gets in to the tower.
Yeah, no, you're
yeah.
really trying hard right now.
Yeah.
See, my next node is at
Okay, now we're in business. We're
9:40.
in business,
now I
boys.
can
Alright.
actually start controlling
Wait,
vision.
yeah, because it's when
Ah,
you
Fuck.
look at
You're
tab.
so close.
I want to see the tab
Careful, they're going top.
here.
I popped Cled. Can't R.
Be
Okay,
careful.
I'm gonna go.
But yeah, oh yeah, this is this route right here. That's it. That's what you
Yeah.
do.
Oh, I
I
do
just
that
right
route.
click there.
I knew exactly
Oh, yeah.
what that. I do that route. I just
Mhm.
don't think about it in that sense.
Okay.
So that's a huge thing that I can do, and one that I will be doing is that drive by mid more frequently.
Yeah. Like I do it all the time. Like you'll see it in the game that my recon game that we're gonna look at a little bit. But like I'm always be like, okay, I'm backing. Okay, I'm gonna do a drive by mid here real quick. Is mid gankable? Stuff like that. But yeah, okay. You don't pull up tab. I thought you did, maybe not. But so you take a back. BNJ has 2,300 gold. In a better scenario, you back when So initially, so this is going all the way back. In a better scenario, you back when he has BF and boots, so he doesn't sit on so much. So that item boost initially would have been huge for getting kills in lane, and he wouldn't have to sit on that gold for so long, right? Because it's just such an awkward, because you go Essence Reaver first, right? So, I mean, I guess you could have backed earlier at 1,200 and grabbed Crit Cloak plus the Warhammer finish, Caulfield's finish. But instead, what you do is you stay all the way until 1,300, and I believe you get BF Sword. Oh gosh, I forget what I think you go BF Sword, Caulfield finish, Boots finish.
I'm gonna go.
I
look
swear
at
you
Rip
press
Curl now,
tab
then.
here pretty
You have
soon.
some time.
I want to see.
He shouldn't have TP for another 30
I'm gonna get
seconds.
vision set up
Yeah,
for this.
as soon as you see the mid laner
Okay,
top,
then I'm
that's
gonna go
totally
Rip
fine.
Curl while you guys do that.
Sounds good.
Press tab, Mr. Leper. I
Sam,
swear
I'm
you
gonna
did.
loop down the river.
Then I'm gonna go Rip
Oh,
Curl
you
while you
just
guys
did
do that.
right there.
Sounds good. Sam, I'm gonna loop down the river because
Yeah. Okay, so you go Caulfield's finish, BF, and then dagger. Okay. Yeah, just like getting those better back timings for items earlier means instead of backing for double longsword boots, you could have backed for BF sword or like BF sword boots, which means that you can also look for a second back somewhere around like 1,400 gold and get either Caulfield's boots or Caulfield's dagger, depending on what you got on the first back, and then that means your third back, you can just look for the, oh gosh, what is it 900 then at that point to finish? Because once you have the three, do you know BNJ? Once you have the three components of Essence Reaver, is it 100 to finish it, or is it 400? I think it's 100 to finish. Because the components, Yeah, it's 100 to finish because it's 3,300 total and the components add up to 3,200. Yeah. Yeah. So then you can look for like the 900 to finish that plus a dagger. So that's a 1,200 gold back, or even you can push it to 1,700 and get the finish plus your boots finish. But that's like a big thing that you two as a duo, but also you BNJ specifically, like you, Leper can't see your gold, like how much gold you have. So you tell him, I want you to tell him when you want to back. And be like, no, we're gonna back now. We're gonna push this next wave. I'm gonna spend this 1,600 gold or whatever it is. But yeah, right here. But yeah, so the item boost would have given you kills for lane, yada yada. And also, honestly, if you're staying out longer than like 1,600 gold in your inventory, 1,600 being BF boots, or like the example I outlined earlier, 1,700, which would have been like um, going from boots to full boots plus going from BF Caulfields to a full Essence Reaver, 1,700. But somewhere in that range is kind of greedy, just in general, just because you're sitting on so much stats that you could be using. Um, but yeah, so that's just something you two can work on together, and also you can work on BNJ is telling Leper when you want to back and when you have the gold to back and get a huge item power spike to bring that back to lane. And I think that can also help you guys win your lane more, right? Like be able to find a lot more in your lane. Like I know you guys play passive, but this is like the type of thing that you can think about if you want to, like, regardless of how do I want to say this? So if you want to start pushing lane more and you want to play that style with some bot lane duos, this is a way that you can start to think about it. Like you can play that passive and then be like, all right, we have the item advantage. Now's when we're going to push it, you know? Or even without that, it's still good to, in case like you're going to play that passive, but then call the jungler down and look for a dragon. If there's like a dragon fight, having, that item advantage just from taking backs on your terms when you have those item spikes and not like staying out too long can be really helpful.
If I
Um,
may,
yeah,
these are ways that we can play passive and not have to be behind.
yes, that too. Yeah,
Like
see, that's what I'm
it's
trying to. I
just
just don't know how to word it.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's ways that we can play the way that we have been playing, but better. We don't actually have to change the way that we play, although this is a step to do that.
yeah. Like
But
this
that
is like the door
is
if
the
you wanted to, but you don't even
this is
have to.
also just even how to play the way that we play better than we are.
Hmm.
Of like we could have from just looking at this game from where we are. We're in 10 minutes in. There's the CS difference probably is made up of those times that we didn't walk the wave into the tower, for example.
Yeah,
Like
where she was
that
able to
kind of
deny
stuff.
you
Yeah.
minions. Yep.
Yeah. So it's those kinds of things that by fixing those and thinking about them, even if we have every lane is killless, that we do better. I want to get better at that shit.
All right, let's see. We've made it to 10 minutes, which is my next note. So once again, stressing walking by mid lane back to bot. You did it this time, which is good. But especially since you have Moby boots, once your Moby boots are up, it practically takes no extra time for you
Right.
to walk by, place the ward, and honestly, you probably get there about the same time as Zaya, or close to it. Um, but yeah, so this is just also another way to get your ward count up. Like you didn't use your trinket very much before switching it out. Like you can see your vision score is 2 at this time. Um, right? So like just getting your vision wards placed count up, because I know we track that stat, how many wards you place plus destroyed, and we like look at how many wards you place and stuff. But if you want to, like, one way to increase that number is to get them in the early game as well. Like it's not just about placing wards once you have your item upgrade, like your support item, but getting wards out when you have the trinket. Like always be trying to put that trinket on cooldown. Never sit on 2 stacks if you can help it.
Okay.
Like even if you have 2 stacks and you're like, well, I want to get the stacks off, just put one in the lane, honestly. Like it protects against the lane gank in case that happens. Like, and if you have 2 stacks, who cares? Just use one of them. You know, it gets you into the habit of using your stacks, of your free vision stacks off the wards. But yeah, and that's something I think everyone can get better at. Especially like if you look down the line here, 3, 7, he's doing well. But 3, 1, 2. like you four just probably aren't just placing your wards. Like I'm assuming it's just something that doesn't, it's not something you actively think about early on into the game, but
Yeah.
it's something that can really help. Um, and but yeah, so that's something right there. But yeah, okay. Are you ready,
Should
Leper,
we
for
win
the
this
fight?
fight? So
No,
Here,
but
here,
we
here.
can do it.
I'm gonna be if they stay
gonna
up.
be
I'm
fun.
I'll
looking.
just
So
speed
look to
through it.
fight. Look
Yeah,
to fight.
this is a great fight.
He kill him, he still
And
kill
I'll
him,
read
he's
the
dead.
note that I wrote, BNJ.
B-
For it.
okay, BJ,
Oh,
just for
nice.
context,
Okay.
he already has
Get him.
roasted me
We
for
like Ripto,
literally
we like
35
Ripto, it's
minutes
fine.
about
We get
this
the
literal
objective, it's
20-second
They're
pass.
gone. So that's all.
Like,
I
not even joking that it was 35 minutes this morning.
Yeah, I wrote 2 full pages of how he could have played this fight better.
Oh my god,
About
this is
5
so
different ways
bad.
to play it better. But yeah, let's see. So the first note on this is really awkward recon plays right there. Easy kill, possible double, but both get out because you don't land anything. Not gonna lie, if I'm BNJ, that tilts me. He played it perfectly, getting a root on Kaisa to start the fight, but you use flash, W, and R and get a total of 0 seconds of CC. But yeah,
I
and then I
found
go
this
into
so
outline
hard.
what I would do here, and I'll just speed run through it just for the video, just so you have it somewhere, if you
Yeah.
wanted to come back to it, because I know we've already gone over it. But so the first way you could have done this better is lead with R, right? So if you lead with your ultimate, that opens up a couple different pathways. So you know that Nautilus is going to hook you as soon as he sees you, because the Zaya is hiding behind minions, so you can assume that's going to happen. By using your ultimate, when he hooks you, he touches you and he gets charmed, which means he can't get his auto off to root you after his hook, which gives you the time to either flash or W onto the Kaisa. These are 2 of the options that you could have taken after that hook to then charm the Kaisa, and that would have killed her. The third one is after the hook. If this one's a little less like Leper individual, but this one's more like synergy wise. Like if you like big Omagu bird brain and on the same page, BNJ, what you could do is I'll back it up just to show you actually. Is
Look to fight.
let's see. So this is when he gets hooked.
He kill him, he still kill
So assume
him, he's
right
dead.
now. What is it doing?
Turn.
Help.
Oh, nice.
I clicked it too much, it stopped going full screen.
He kill him, he still kill him, he's
Okay. So right here, assuming you had what you could have done if like, you were like absolutely a god, and I wouldn't have even probably done this myself. Like this is like something really high level mechanic micro stuff. You could have kited your way down this way, right? Like kite, and not even just like down this way, but at her. If you kite at her, Leper, assuming he had popped his R, can E to you, and he can clip the Kaisa with his E, charming her right there, and she probably dies just from the charm alone, because she's half health right now,
dead.
and she walks away from you with 220 health, right? So if he clips the charm, she's very, very dead right there, is essentially my point. But if he's able to clip the Kaisa using his E on you, then he's right here. Nautilus is right here. Nautilus already used passive on him. He already used hooked on him. He hit 6 in the middle of the fight, and I'm not sure. I'm going to assume he's not, going to be leveling up his ult in the middle of the fight. I'm not sure if he has like a mouse button bound to it or if he's that big brained or not. I do it personally, but that's because I have a mouse button. But so he doesn't have hook. He doesn't have his passive. This means that Leper has his ultimate still up, so he has the movement speed from just charming her. Also, he has his W up and his flash up and his ignite and his Q, and you get a double kill onto the Nautilus. But that's the third way if he leads with R, and that's like the most high skill play that requires like insane play from both of you to be thinking the same thing. Like even if you walk that way, that doesn't mean Leper's not gonna like think of it. Like this is like a together type of thing. This would have been like I actually would have reported you both for smurfing if you had done this, not gonna lie. But like that's how but yeah. I just wanted to put that out there as a play because I love Rakan and I like talking about things Rakan can do. But so those are 3 of the ways that he could have done it. The fourth way is to right here, when you're setting up the route, if he had W flashed right here when they didn't see him, like they can't see him around this corner here, maybe the minion sees him, but like right before when he's in this bush here, if he W flashes and gets a double knock up right here, that locks them in place for your route to come through because you're firing that out now, so you get a double route from your route. And then he can hit a 2-man charm as well, and they probably just both die right there as well. So that's the fourth way that he could have, just from leading off the fight, that this could have gone better. And then the fifth thing is like from the back side of the fight. So right here, after he gets rooted up and the Kaisa flashes out, if you can just recognize that the Kaisa's out, you're not going to be able to catch her. She flashed out. She has her E to run away from the movement speed. You don't have the bonus movement speed from your ult really anymore. It's going to come off by the time you're done being rooted because you didn't tag anyone new. But you can still get this Nautilus here. You can probably run at him. Maybe you can even maybe you don't get him if you run at him, but you can flash on him. And you can have killed just the Nautilus here as well. That's another option, is just killing the Nautilus. Because his Aftershock, you can see like these particles around. That's the particles of Aftershock exploding. So he doesn't have his Aftershock anymore, so he's going to pop like a balloon. But that's the fifth thing that you could have done differently in this fight. And we kind of went over this earlier today already, but I just want to get that on recording so
They're
you can come
gone,
back to it.
so that's all good.
But instead, they get out, which is unlucky. But yeah, you play that really well though, BNJ. Just want you to know that was a really good route to start off that fight. That was perfect. Next note is at 10:45.
We didn't get a kill, but they're out of the lane here. I'm gonna go clear vision.
Let's see. First note, push the wave first. Do this with BNJ. That's something I talked about earlier. Just pointing out, there's another like point where that could have been used. Push that wave in, deny 2 waves or 1 wave or something. I think 2. Yeah, because you fought in a minion wave back here. It's pushing out. It never hit the tower, which means that, yeah, you'll have 2 waves here and they'll have 1. But yeah, so if you push this out with him, you'll deny 2 waves away from this Kai'Sa who has to back. And then you both can walk through here together. It's just safer, and BNJ has an opportunity to put out some good wards as well. Like, that's the big reason on it. Like, ADCs get a lot of rap for not putting out vision. And honestly, a lot of it is more not the fact that they don't do it, it's the fact that they never really have an opportunity to. But this would have been a good opportunity for BNJ to use some of his words as well. But so you do a good job to clear vision after forcing them out of the lane. Also,
Be safe.
I'm very proud of you for
If he looks towards me, I don't have ulti
this
for you, but I can
ward
still just volley block for you. I'm really
right.
strong.
No, this word. I like this word.
Yeah, that's my ward.
You taught me that word.
Yes, I
I
did.
never would have thought about that word if you never taught me.
This
But
ward,
I
and
knew
then
that I
like
was
the
gonna go
ward
from
here.
here through the entire jungle. So I was gonna go here. I think I get the one left of the Krug pit,
Move over
and
to
then
this side
one
easier,
in the
okay?
raptor bush. Cled's there.
Which I'm very glad that you did it. However, in this case, since you can go deeper, don't do that ward. Like, it's good. That ward is great if they're in the lane, like you crash a wave, but they're there to catch it, so you only have time to go up to ping, like up to try and drop it. It's one of those band-aid wards. Like I said, when I went over with you initially, the band-aid wards of putting one over that wall right there, and then putting one over the wall of Dragon Pit. And if you can get one up, then you have all 3 ways. So that's to circumvent, them putting a pink and try and clearing a ward, is you can just put one here, one here. And that essentially gives you all of the same information that try does, and it also gives it to you sooner. But so I'm very glad that you remembered that word. However, in this case, since you can go deeper, right? So what I would do instead is get one in the Krug's pit, along with your deep pink that you put here. I love this pink. This is a great
I
pink.
love that pink.
It's just so good.
Nobody
It's a great
clears
pink.
it on blue side, but everybody clears it on red side.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
because
know
of
why
Baron's
that is.
there. It's because of Baron's there. I feel. Like, I
This one
feel
gets
people like run straight to Baron a lot more than people run straight to
Yeah.
Dragon. And when people run straight to Dragon, they like go this way by
Yeah.
Raptors.
This
When
one
people run straight
will
Baron,
last
they'll go this way
forever.
to the Blast Cone.
In this game, it lasted
Oh, yeah.
forever.
Yeah, it's a great ward. But yeah, so I would do one in Krugs, one like along with your deep pink here, and then I would put one like right here by this jungle river
Mhm.
place right here, and then you've completely warded out everything. Like the reason I don't say, because you had, actually no, it would work out. When I wrote this, I saw that you had 2 wards, so I was like, fine, if you do one here and one here, that'll cover
Yeah,
it.
but I
Instead
did the
of,
one
but since
first
you
one.
had 3, you could have done one here, and one here, because
Okay.
so the main reason is if you have one here, your pink, and this one, if he crosses over this, he goes to Raptors and he walks up this way. There's 1, 2, 3 different for, like he could go into mid this way, he could go mid this way, he could come down the river, he could come this way, and none of your other wards would have spotted it, which is why I would say do this one and the Krugs if you only have 2, because then you can see which way he's going from this point and you can't like be surprised still. But if you have all 3, you can do all 3, obviously. But yeah. But that's just kind of like some advanced wording
That's all I can do for
tips
you right now. I'm gonna get
for
Rift
ya.
Troll. I'm gonna secure Rift Troll.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the idea behind that is just like he goes to Raptors, he walks up this way, you feel safe because you have vision, but he could very easily just walk through here, through try, and gank you, and you never would see it coming.
It's dead then.
Mhm.
Like even if you have a pink in here, it still doesn't spot that route out.
I know you
Yeah, I have to secure there, dude.
The next
I like
thing
have to.
I believe is at
Let's just shove this in,
11:15.
Sam.
Oh, he fucked up. Let's go mid. Mid. Look.
We're coming. We're coming.
Oh, that was another pathing thing right there. Same thing we talked about earlier of ways to fix that. Also, I believe you're in E range here. You could E to the Zaya as well to get closer. Like if you E here,
Yeah.
I think the Kleds, yeah, you fight on the Kled. So if you E to the Zaya, E to the Trundle, knock up, and you do E to the Zaya there. But
Alright,
you
good
never
job,
E to the
guys.
Trundle
Just
while
push
you
mid, I
had
can TP bot.
Guardian
Alright.
and a
I-
Q
I-
proc
I'm
up,
low.
so you
I'm
could have
really
given
low.
him
Yeah.
I'm
We're
just
gonna
shield.
hold. We're gonna hold mid here, Sam.
Yeah.
Could have given him shield
hold mid
from
so we can
E,
go do
shield
Drake.
from Guardian,
Yeah,
and
push waves there,
your
flash
Q
on Drake.
heal as well. But yeah, I don't want to beat a dead horse too much. You understand.
I very
Um,
much understand.
Okay, 11:40. Help BNJ push the wave. Not sure if you have demolish. I think you do. When
I
I
do.
wrote this, I wrote. Later I remembered you do, and I saw you use it. But yeah, so you have demolish. Um, but yeah, but that's guaranteed plate since you know where 4 of the 5 people are on the map. And at this point in time, you know where all 5 of them are actually now.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one's dead in fountain. So yeah. You can push in for plate here pretty easily if you help him push it out. Like I said, don't be afraid to just use your W on the casters, especially when you're maxing it. It's really not that long of a cooldown that you don't miss it. And with a Zaya there to E out to, you're pretty safe still. Like even if he Q hooks you, you can still E out pretty consistently and pretty safely. And the tower, even if he does get you in tower range, you don't take too much with your Guardian still up. But yeah. So if you can push that in quicker, right? Like if you can immediately push this in, W these, get your stack onto the cannon, you can
And we have
probably
Alright, boys. So what's our
either
vision.
get the
how are we playing the
demolish
game now?
off onto the tower,
This is
or you
all
can
on
step up there for
BNJ.
BNJ to auto it.
Wherever you're at, careful
But
to set.
instead, it takes long enough that the set's able to, get all of his stuff done and roam up here, and he's able to
Yep, I
scare
see
you
him. I
off
see
of
him.
the
We're gonna
tower.
back off here.
Oh, you're gonna die.
Fuck.
Oh, Bandy.
She had R. She R'd
Also,
my R.
sadly, this happened in the bot lane, which is unlucky right before the Drake.
It's fine. Okay, it's fine.
Oh yeah. Also, if you
Yeah,
had
this
this
is-
ward here,
Yeah, that was Vandrel lagging the fuck out.
yeah. Yeah. Back to it again. If you had the word here instead of here, you see the
Mhm.
set walk down here rather than come up this way, which means that you could have gone for the plate still
Yeah.
at that point. That's just
We
a
can
small
look.
thing, and
The
maybe
Kai'Sa
if
has to back.
also that's also circumstantial because he saw you back off. Maybe that's why he went back that way. If you hadn't backed off like you did, maybe he comes up and it doesn't matter, and I'm just full of shit.
And I have
But
ulti for the set. We can look for the Drake set.
Yep.
yeah. 12 minutes.
Set.
Perfect
Look
W
here.
to catch set, meaning free
Have
Drake
ulti.
number 2. Side note, teach Freddy how to smite.
That's fine.
That's my note for this one.
I'm
He has a
sorry, BNJ,
smite.
that should've been
Use
yours.
press tab so I know this.
540
And let's
smite.
see here.
I
He
kills
says
him.
540 smite. 209. Unlucky.
Y'all should
But yeah.
Spot.
Yep.
Catch spot, catch spot. We
My
can look
next
for
thing is
to
at
retro bot, by the way.
1240.
Yeah.
Clyde
Oh,
has
she's
TP.
overextended. She
Okay.
overextended a lot. Go,
Yeah.
if you could jump on her, it's fine.
Or just kill him.
Look him,
Watch
look
this
him, look
fight
him, look him.
out.
I don't have ulti.
Ta-da.
She exhausted me. Just back off.
All right, here we go. It's 1240. So again, lead with R to stop not from rooting you after the hook there. So this is another chance. Like, I know we talked about it, but again, this is another case where you would want to lead with R rather than
Yeah.
trying to look for the W.
I
Just
didn't even
'cause-
think, like, it didn't even occur to me that if he hooks me, just as a side note, like, that if I lead with R,
uh-huh.
when he hooks me, he's charmed. Like, I didn't even think about that until today.
No, yeah, it's those little things. Just use yourself as a weapon. You literally just fling yourself in there. It's like, you want me, come and get me, you know? But yeah. Okay, but yeah, so again, lead with R to stop not root after hook. Also, after you back off here, you have 30% health and 70 mana. Like, you know your spell costs are on average like 70, so you can cast one spell at this point. Pop all of your potions and biscuits immediately. You
Yeah,
aren't saving them for anything. It's 13 minutes. Use them, especially since you're going to want the inventory space soon. Also, if you're going to be looking in here, you don't know where the set is. You know, you don't know where the Cassidon is. There's no reason not to, I guess. If you're thinking about using them, might as well just use all of them.
Yeah, I fucked this by not realizing it earlier, because you'll see it here.
Oh yeah, I remember you say it.
Retro
Use
pearls
one of
now.
each, but
Yep.
yeah,
They're really
just pop
good.
them
Yeah.
all next time. And that's just something that, like, honestly, that's just something that you have to learn from experiencing it. And now I'm sure you'll never do it again. Now that you've,
Yeah, like,
lost
I
a
will be
team
paying
fight because of it.
Yeah,
Now you'll never lose a
like,
team fight
we
because of it
kind of
again.
sort of somewhat salvaged it, sort of,
If
not
they decide
really.
to step
Yeah,
up,
it
we
ended
could
up. I
dive.
think
Oh,
it was
he's
like
using
a
ulti on me. Just
3
back
for
Two
3
for-
trade or something.
But yeah, something like
Him.
that.
Yeah.
It overall was even.
That was good that you
Back
got
off.
one. He flashed and missed the E. He's bad.
Let's
Yeah,
kill
so
the
he
bot.
comes in
Let's
and
kill the bot.
chunks. The important thing to note here, your potion and your biscuits are both done. I just wanted to note the time mark for you here that, like, to prove that you would have gotten them all off, before the end of this. It's not like you're popping all of them and they're not all going off. Just want to point out that they would have all gone off. So if you had
Yeah.
them ticking, they would continue to tick here.
If you kill him,
I think
can
now
make
you
it.
recognize you don't have mana? Or no, it's when
Mhm.
you go to use an ability.
It's when I go to use an ability.
God
that
damn it, I have
realize
no
I
Like,
mana.
have
I
it.
think you go to E, Mr. Trundle there, and you don't
Just
have
turn
mana
I go to
for it.
You
E,
guys can
and
kill
I
her.
was also looking at that W right there. Is one of the other ones that I was looking for.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then you end up using
That's
the
why I didn't die
biscuits,
here.
but you don't
It's
actually get the
completely
full
okay.
use of that
Yeah,
one.
I
And the
mismanaged.
potion dies. But yeah, so 13 minutes, set comes and chunks you all. 13:15, Kled comes and cleans up a triple because you had no health, no mana. This is why you said use potions and biscuits, because they would have been huge for this fight. You end up going 3 for 3, but I think if you use pots plus biscuits earlier, it's at least one less kill for them, if not two, and possibly a fourth for you. However, that isn't likely. So essentially what I mean there is, if you use them earlier, you get out for sure, which makes it a 2 for 3, and maybe you get the Zaya out as well, just
Mhm.
or maybe the Trundle, or someone gets out, someone lives long enough that another person gets out from your shielding and healing extra stuff that you get off. And maybe you even get the last thing is maybe you get a fourth one on the Kled here, but I don't think you get one on the Kled. I think you just end up, you could have made it a 1 for 3. If you played it perfectly, I think it's a 1 for 3 in your favor. But yeah. Just, kind of putting an impact to, like, the message,
Manage my mana.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about
Because
it.
you can say a
You're
lot, but
completely
if there's
fine.
no, like,
And
visible
now
impact
BNJ's
to it,
actually God.
it's going to mean a lot
BNJ
less
can
to
play
people.
like a god.
Oh, yes. 1340. Okay. Here I'd like to talk about build. This game, you opt for Zeke's into Knight's Vow. I think this is wrong in this case. Looking at your team comp, your win cons are A, finding picks, and B, Azir and Zaya hitting through the team fights. Because of this, and the fact that you have Maokai and Trundle, you don't really need to be tank frontline Rakan or engage Rakan. You don't have to be primary engage. Particularly, both of your carries who have lethal tempo absolutely love Ardent Sensor. With Freddy committing to a Zeke's Knights himself, I would have gone some combination of Athene's, Ardent, Redemption, and Locket. Either Athene's or Ardent first into So if you go Athenes first, go Ardent, then Redemption or Locket. If you go Ardent first, go Redemption into Locket second and third. I
Okay.
think this helps your carries much more and synergize with your role in this composition a lot better. Also, Azir Sand Soldiers do not proc Zeke's. Side note, it does not. I researched it because I remember someone said it did when I made fun of the double Zeeks, and I wasn't entirely sure, so I wanted to make sure. And it does not. Azir Sand Soldiers do not proc on hit effects, and Zeke's Convergence
Is on hit
passive
effects. Yeah.
is considered an on hit effect, so it does not proc it, so you do not need two Zeeks here. But yeah, I personally probably would have gone
Yeah,
Athene's Ardent Locket.
Freddy said that he was building Zeeks, I was a bit confused. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Honestly, it's not
He does really like
bad.
the double Knight's Vow though. Like that is something that we do frequently.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like another option you could have gone, right? Like, um, Ardent Redemption. Like add so like in the build you choose a first item, Athenes or Ardent.
Mm-hmm.
If you go Athenes, you go Ardent second. If you go Ardent first, you can choose two more items. You could choose two items from Redemption, Locket, or Knight's Vow. Honestly, any two of those three. Just like if you go Athenes Ardent, you could make a Knight's Vow your third item as well. I don't have a problem with that either. I think that's totally good as well. But yeah, so I personally would have gone Athenes Ardent into Locket. This team comp, maybe no Athenes. Maybe I just go Ardent. It's probably what I'm feeling at the time, you know.
Right.
But that's how I would have built this game, knowing that you already have Maokai, Trundle for your front line, and you have two, like with Azir and Zaya, Redemption or not Redemption. Ardent is super duper good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's just personally how I would have looked at building it, and I would have approached building it. Obviously, if Freddy hadn't gone Zeke Knight's Vow, you could easily go like I would either go Athene's or Zeke's first item into an Ardent second, and then if you go Athene's first, you could do a Zeke's third. Or if you go Zeke's first, you could go Zeke's Ardent and then insert one of Redemption, Locket, Knight's Vow type of thing. But yeah, that's just kind of that's my spiel on Rakan build paths. But yeah, that's what I would have done here.
Like
Okay.
we're gonna literally just run down bot now.
Next node
Yep.
is at 1420.
Vandal, play back a little.
I had WEQ.
But yeah, oh yeah, BNJ, that fight, I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure if you like misclicked or something, but you kind of stood still there. And I'm betting if you kite that out a little better, plus if Leper has mana there, you probably live as well. Like I'm pretty sure if both of you played that a little better, you definitely get out and it's a 1-for-3. Maybe the Clyde gets a kill in a tower dive and like takes a big chunk for it or something. But yeah, barring him making a really good play under tower, if you play it slightly better and Leper has mana, yeah, you probably live as well. I agree.
Okay, I'm gonna clear top side now.
Sorry, I didn't see your message right away.
Are?
Ulti to you. I'm going towards you.
Okay.
He ulted in my jungle. I have ulti for him. We could kill any of them if they're both here. Can you turn to me, Vandal?
Yeah.
We're just gonna go for the tower,
Okay.
Sam.
So you say you're gonna
It's
push
here.
the tower. You see a lot of them in the top side, which is so
Just
this is
go
a good
Nautilus.
call.
Nautilus. You have to help me
Oh
with
yes,
quickly.
this made me a little mad. Okay, so first off, actually the other thing I touch in my notes later, but
You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it.
don't ward this bush here. Don't ward try. You know that they're very prone, right? Like you've seen them pink this very often.
Yeah.
So this is the perfect time to go for the ward right here. Like
Okay.
just do a quick ward over the wall here, and then run back to your Kaisa to help, or not to your Kaisa, to your Zaya to help push. Because you don't really have the time to go deeper right now.
Oh
Like you
my
can,
God.
but you don't. No, and yeah,
Alright,
there's
we
the
get
set.
mid-tower.
So yeah, you can go deeper.
Just let me get some gold.
Be careful. Sets coming
Okay.
toward. Sets on his.
I'm
Crux,
not sure if
sets on
I
his
would
crux.
have. I might have dropped one over here, dropped one up. Honestly, yeah, this is a good word. I probably would have put one here, and I would have put one on the other side of the wall, and then come down.
No, we get
But yeah, so the only thing there, I'd move that there because they've pinked this multiple times so far this
Oh,
game.
brief note. I gotta
Yes.
go in 20 minutes. I gotta be up earlier tomorrow.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So we can finish this up quick then.
Can you just poke
But yeah.
in range and just get
And
it
then
off?
yep, then they go and pink
Okay.
it there. Yeah. Let's see. Next thing is at 15,
We just get this here.
10.
I'm gonna park the demolish and boom.
You could kill. We get the tower. We get the tower.
good.
No, we don't. There's no minion. What are you doing?
Oh shit.
Sam,
Cast
we're gonna come up behind them.
Oh
Girl,
yes,
you need to
this is
run,
a
you can
really
flash
good
out, it's
idea.
fine.
However, you don't quite have enough information.
We're just gonna go on this.
Like as soon
right
as you
now.
go on
No,
this,
no, don't,
that
Oh, that's
Cassidon shows up, and this is like
He's 1 HP.
the
He's
Zaya
fine.
and the Nautilus are coming up, and it's just like just not quite enough information with the top side being so dark, and you were just on a slightly
Ah,
different
man.
page than Vandrel
I
and
misread
Freddy,
that play really bad.
because they had like because they had just gone out. Like I think for sure
Oh,
you
good
absolutely
gun.
clean this fight up if you're all on the same page and Vandrel isn't lagging
Lagging to death
really
here.
hard there in the
Yeah.
middle of that fight. But I think that was a really good play, really good to look at it, just
You got a
slightly
little
off
greedy
page.
there.
Like
That's
even
on me,
with
not on
out
anybody else.
all of the information,
Ugh.
I still think you win that fight if you're all on the same page.
I could hit R right there. I think we killed them all.
Yeah.
And we don't have Malcolm. My is split pushing, which is really
So
good.
the next
yeah.
thing
Got a
is
lot
at
of that.
16:30.
Look towards him, actually. I could kill him.
Just leave.
Flash this. They use exhaust and flash, by the way.
Oh yeah, I looked at that a couple
Oh,
times.
I was,
I
getting
think
cut
I
off.
agree with that flash. I think that was a good
Careful,
flash.
just back off.
Yep.
Back it
We
up
got
one more
this in a
time.
minute.
Health, by the way. Flash, by the way.
Just leave.
Flash this.
I
that
looked
one?
at that a lot,
use
and I
exhaust.
was like, did he need to flash? Was that a waste?
Just leave.
Flash this.
And I think it was.
They
I think it
use
was a good
exhaust and
flash.
flash,
I
by
think
the
it
way.
was fine.
I think that was a smart flash, actually.
Yeah.
Like looking
Because
at it,
I
I
was,
did never thought
getting
that was
cut
a bad flash.
Like at first
Careful,
glance,
back
it's
off.
like,
We got this
do
in
you
a
need a
minute.
flash
Watching
there?
your
But
video,
looking at a
I
couple
know
times, yeah.
People said
Zaya's
that,
almost
but
here.
like I think with the Kled there and everything
Zaya,
else, I
come
think
to
it was
me.
an appropriate flash.
Yeah.
I'm going
I
bot.
think it was a good flash. I agree with
Just
that
sweep
flash.
outside.
I did.
Just play safe
Oh
mid,
yes, 16:30. Right here. Notice it earlier too, but when you sweep, make sure you cover as much area as you can, which you
Okay.
do a good job of generally. But also B, sweep over the whole bush to make sure you don't miss a ward. You don't sweep this whole bush, importantly. So like you actually like barely clip the bush. So if someone had put one like in the middle of it, you'd miss it. But yeah, so just like a general rule of thumb is like,
I should be able
and
to tap.
you don't actually get that whole bush either. You miss like the bottom
Yep.
left
Let's
corner.
shove this in.
Push for tower.
Okay.
Oh yes, and the reason I talked about like covering more area is that you kind of doubled back on the same path. I would have done like a little circle back just to check in here.
I got you.
I'm sure you wouldn't have gotten anything else because they don't really ward out at all, but it's about the practice and the habit of getting it.
Kled.
Bang. He's getting
Yeah.
caught. He's getting
This is a
caught.
good
Go
poke
on,
on
go
Kled,
on, and go.
but
We
recognize
fight.
it's just poke, and you don't have the sticking
two
power to
top.
100 to 0 him without your ultimate.
He's on mountain.
So
on
back
mountain.
off sooner.
Back off. Back off.
You guys chase that like a couple
Push it,
seconds
get
too long.
tower.
It's not a big deal. It's just, you know, like a optimizing thing,
There's
right?
two
Like you
tops
could
that we get mid
optimize
tower, guys. It's fine.
Yep.
your play and your time a little bit more.
Kaisa's even rotating bot.
But yeah.
Did you survive that top?
See.
Good
Yeah.
shit, bro.
I think,
17:45.
at the exception of the ease, I'm
You look
getting
for
much more
Dragang?
comfortable. Like my muscles are back, if
Oh,
that
yeah.
makes sense. By this time in the game.
Yeah, you definitely seem more comfortable and you like eat
Do you
more,
say again?
I think.
What is this
Oh, I
ping?
Do you
Or
need me to
no, I don't
pause?
know if you eat more.
I
But
don't
yeah,
eat
your
more, but,
W's seem a
like-
lot more comfortable. Oh,
Like, it
this is the
just-
big thing
Oh,
right
like a-
here as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So 17:45.
If I
Who knows? I don't
yeah,
have smite,
this
I don't
was
have
not a
smite for
fun
30. I don't have
one.
smite for
This
30.
one was we
Unless
talked
we look
about
for the
this one
fight.
in the comms and you hear it.
We gotta pull it out.
Get
if
this
we
Like
Let's
we
get this,
recognize
get
the
this.
faults in this real
Yeah.
quick.
I think
Okay.
there's a couple faults that you didn't see though from what listening to the comms.
Yeah,
Okay. So 17:45. Unlucky Dragon
Okay.
Steel. This isn't exactly an individual thing, but A, ward over the back to see him coming. B,
Mhm.
drag it out, or C, hold all damage on it at like 1300 or even higher. And option D is to get Freddy to smite better, kick W.
He didn't have smite. We went into that knowing he did not have smite.
If I remember,
All right.
He did
you
not
pressed
have
tab.
smite.
I swear he did.
He did not have smite.
We look for
Drag
We
Dragang?
went into this knowing he did not have smite.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, we knew he did not have smite.
Do you need me to pause?
Okay, but yeah. Also the
and
other
then when,
thing.
when the
I don't have
set
smite
shows
for 30.
here,
I
we're
don't have
like,
smite for
oh
30,
fuck, we need to
unless
pull
we
it
look for the
out,
fight.
and then Freddy goes back in for the
We
ward.
gotta pull it
Good,
out.
good, 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 good,
Is
good.
what
Yeah, like
happens.
it's okay to get that ward, but you have to hold
Alright.
damage on it while he's
I
getting
mean,
the
we're
ward.
not doing that, and then there it goes.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
Yeah. With
But
you staying
yeah.
in there to clear the ward, we couldn't pull it out.
Yep,
or
and you
anything.
guys talk about that as well.
Yeah, my
And this is
bad.
the other big thing I noticed as well is on objectives. Oh, I talk about this when you guys go for the
clear
bear.
Kai'Sa? We could-
But use your
You look mid.
Qs and make
You
sure
just shove
you're
out,
always
or we could
giving
go
your
Riptroll.
Qs to someone.
Let's shove this.
If you have
and then
Ardent,
shove
give it
this
to your
wave
carries.
so that it starts
If you
shoving, and then
you
we
can give it to
yeah.
multiple people as well.
Okay.
Who's the threat? The only
If you
threat
hit
on their
multiple
team
people
is
at the same time
Plug.
with it.
Plug won't be able
And
to
you can
stand
also
him
use
to
your
us,
E's
so
when
Yep.
you're
it's
taking
fine.
objectives, and your Guardian and stuff. That just like
As long as
helps
Vandal
tank it
doesn't
up.
DC.
You know, just take less damage from it
Vandal,
overall.
do you need me to come mid?
If you just like E people that are doing it, cue them and give it to the person who's tanking it. You know, helps keep people healthier.
Just keep focusing
Um,
this down.
So 1840 here coming up. So side note again, not individual, but tell Tyler to get the fuck out of
Bars.
mid.
I'm gonna back
If
mid
we
to
aren't
guys.
looking for a fight and subsequent objective
Baron
afterwards,
into this.
having
Okay,
Zion
I
Azir
don't
split
have
CS
full
and
out
XP
vision.
is
I need
bad
to
enough.
back
We don't
shift
need a
it.
Maokai taking some too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
that was just a note for me to remember to
Alright,
tell him to go to a side
so
lane.
I
And
need to back is what I need
talk
to
about
do.
his
But I will stay
map
here.
awareness.
We're just gonna keep this wave
uh
and protect this
Alright.
tower.
let's see.
BNJ,
Next
I'm
thing
gonna
is
have
at
Knights Valkyrie right now. Or do you
2005.
have Knights already?
I do not. I just have Zeke's.
Okay, I get Knights for BNJ.
Just gonna
Zeke's
fast forward
crazy.
through this back real quick, especially
Yep,
since we're
we
low
have
on time.
Can come mid with TP,
Okay.
so we're always gonna be.
So right
see how
now-
he's moving? He's moving.
Okay.
Yep.
So
So we
you
need to
should be
place a ward
clearing
here,
vision in their
Or you're gonna
jungle
place-
and placing
place
your
a control
own
ward
at
here.
entrances.
Yep. I can
Right
do
now.
that.
So the whole idea, right? So the whole idea of this is to choose one lane to collapse on if you get push in mid. But don't feel safe like so if you can get push in mid, but you don't feel safe like sieging the tower. The whole idea of this is to like have the vision so you can go collapse on a side lane. So like ideally you can sweep and ward both sides of the jungle if you're playing 1-3-1 like you are right now. But the other alternative obvious and for 1-4s is to just choose one side. So just choose one side, sweep it all out and like light it up, right? So
That's
this means you have a
why
lit
part of
path.
the reason that like we do better with 1-4 is that I can pick the side.
Yeah. But yeah, so this means you have a lit path between each lane and you know it's safe. Meanwhile, it's dark for the enemy team. This means you know anyone who steps foot in that jungle, so you can confidently collapse, pick people off, get turrets, and or know when to back off because a flank is coming. So this is
Yeah.
why you need that highway through the jungle, especially at this point in the game. So right now you guys should have set this up so you can keep pushing mid and like collapse on bot lane here.
See, the Pled's
Yeah,
here.
let's see.
Now we know where he's at.
We're gonna have another fight
So
here in
about
just a
mid, guys.
second.
I just need to get to
You have
you.
no way around, guys. Oh, we can get,
Yeah,
we can get,
okay.
we can get.
Yeah,
we can
I was
get.
too far out
we
from
pull
you.
out of this one.
Let's just
So
shove
Oh, they're
this.
looking for
gonna be
ulti.
a
Just run,
really
just run,
bad
just run,
one
just
if
run.
we
They
kept
wasted
going.
Pled ulti, by the way.
There's another one here.
No, this is the one. Okay, this
Yeah.
is the one.
Yeah, right here.
CC seed.
Oh, no, this is not the one I was thinking about.
Kill him,
Okay.
kill him, kill him immediately.
Hey, I eat there.
That was your 30.
Yeah, there's
That was
about
a really
a
good
10-minute
pillar,
gap
guys.
between
Look
east.
to her.
So
You guys could kill her. You guys could kill her.
they come
Pass it
very
in.
sparingly.
You guys could
I'm gonna
turn
watch
to
this whole
Cassidon.
fight and then I'll do my notes on
We
this.
got him, we got him.
But yeah, okay. 2030. Really well
It's
played
probably
fight.
in my best fight of the game,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
And I think that's exactly when you want to use your W first. Like that's the scenario when you don't lead with R. Right. So my notes were really well played fight. Used it very well reactively. This is the right scenario to use it after your W. Good flash onto the Kai'Sa for the charm. Only thing is to auto more and use both parts of your E. Your autos count, especially when Xayah gives you attack speed and empowers them. If you're
Okay.
next to someone and waiting for cooldowns, I see this a couple times in the fight, like where you're waiting for like a Q or a W and you're just kind of like walking next to them. Just attack them, right? Just like hit
Okay.
A on the ground next to them. Auto them. You can also try to weave in some autos into your combos, but that's a smaller thing. That's a lot smaller thing. So like that's like going auto Q auto or like W auto and between things, you know,
Mhm.
like W auto Q R or like W auto Q R auto R or something, you know. Any combo, just throwing an auto between every ability. That's basically weaving in autos. But yeah. Where's this? You can also try to also use both of your E's. The second is free and still applies your shield. So both of it use shield. You never seem to use it. You never seem to use your E to reposition just in general. Also, this is the third time a teammate walked out at 100 HP without you Eing them at all that fight, and they almost die for it.
He wasn't in my range.
All right, we get Baron. We get Baron.
Yeah, but it's like
Pass it in.
That was a really good pillar, guys.
He's never in my range for that E.
go here.
That was a really good pillar, guys.
Look,
Toward, you guys
I
kill
can
her, you guys
never
kill
get
her.
to him. To make that E.
Let's see. You could have eaten him there. You
That
do
was
get
a
the
really good
knock up
pillar,
on
guys.
Kaisa though.
Look toward, you guys could kill her, you guys could kill her.
Cast it
Yeah.
in.
You guys could turn to Cassidin. We got him.
You have to remember, I did this at like 5 a.m.
I got you. I'm just saying, like, I know that one. Because I was
Perhaps
actively thinking about
we
it.
could
And he
push
was
mid.
just, yeah.
No, let's go.
Tower.
One tower,
All
tower,
right.
tower,
I'm
tower.
not
You
happy
go
with my
tower.
lack of
We
lack of
go.
ease in this game.
Yep, we're
Y'all
going.
start it, we'll come.
All right, let's see here. 2120. Okay, so this is just when I talk about using your E's to help tank the Baron up.
Oh, sorry, that was my bad. I
Yeah.
wasted ulti way too early.
Yeah,
Could've
like
killed him a lot earlier.
weaving them in on
I mean, it worked
Freddy.
out.
So like use it, auto a couple times, wait for it to come off of him, use it again.
They need
Then, Azir, can you move up so you can see where the set's at?
Yep,
He's still-
that's
he's
all I
still-
had
he's still
there.
going.
Just fast forward
There
to
we go.
this. Okay, 22
Get
minutes.
out.
Another good example of slight overchase.
Sam, no!
Like this
Alright,
was, you guys
all
did
good.
really good
Either way,
recognizing like
way.
when to stop.
I could
But
flash
it's like
fight him,
as soon as he's
gonna
gonna go,
stop
now I would
here.
stop.
Yes, that.
It's just a couple seconds, you know,
Got it,
slight.
fine.
Alright.
But
I'm gonna path around
yeah.
this. Oh, I can just.
But overall, you did a good job.
Just
Kept the
back, you
pick
don't
and
need
like
to chase.
recognized. I'm really glad you didn't chase further. That was really good for you to recognize that.
Nautilus has kind of been
So you're getting back
Up for
on
next streak.
map.
They're gonna set up for it
Okay.
right now.
Yep, I have everything up.
Oh yes, I have
we have
one
Arcana ult
thing
for
here.
this,
So
so I can start things off.
where is it?
Careful, careful. Let's see.
So always try and put wards in bushes if you can. That one is a little more dangerous, I recognize, but like you probably could have snuck it in there and like W'd out, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, just in general, I see you multiple times kind of like putting wards when you could take like a step further and put it in a bush
That's
Get this.
to give like more information, slightly more information.
We're so strong right now.
Yeah, it's 23 minutes.
Just
This is
do-
just going to be a
force
really
it,
good
force
fight
it,
here
force it,
for the
force it.
team
Pull it
overall.
out.
If he comes in,
I do have some analysis for you on this one because
He's gonna
I
go
think this is a
around.
pretty
He's
bad
gonna go
fight
around.
for you personally. Like, let's watch you. So you miss your W.
Yeah.
You
this
are,
is not-
you get a good charm there.
That's a big
BNJ,
set.
BNJ,
Just healed,
but-
is what and then I'm just running
like,
all over the place.
Right
yeah.
after you are there, E back this way, and you catch a second person in it, and you're there peeling for BNJ. So the big thing is that you don't, that you're indecisive, right? So you
Yeah.
W in, and then you peel back, and then you go back this way, and then you try and peel back. and
Nice,
it's like,
man.
Oh, everyone
Yeah.
left me.
like you kind of bait.
Sorry,
Like
dude,
it
like,
wasn't
you had
just
back
you, but
for
like
BNJ.
Vandal got baited just in general there, and his E's.
4
You
for 1.
probably could have.
Yeah.
He might have been able to survive
go
that fight.
bot.
Just in general, if you like eat him there, and but yeah,
Now can I go mid?
that's mainly the thing for that fight.
Good shit though, Vandal. You did really good.
Wow, congratulations! We're on to the last page of notes. This is epic.
This is amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
You have your
Other way around.
Backing. This is pretty
So-
you know, straightforward stuff.
you can keep it rolling too. Yeah.
Okay. And then right here.
If they get a
I'll-
catch, we turn the fight. If they get a catch, we turn the fight.
Yep.
Oh yes, okay. This is just a map thing. So again, this is not like an individual thing, but something that I missed in my VOD review. So you take mid inhib, but you can't siege Nexus towers. But your side waves couldn't be any worse than they are. Like if you look at them, they
Yeah, we
are
get
crashing.
nothing.
Yeah.
We just have to like hard back.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter this game, but it's a good habit to practice is that you'll need to like prep your waves and like push these waves so once mid inhib drops, you can immediately go pressure a side tower as you group. Otherwise, you aren't maximizing your Baron play. And a big thing on this is having your Maokai splitting. Also, one thing you can think about is if the wave's coming to you, right before, like, instead of, actually no, you did the right play to get that tower. I'm not going to talk about this because I don't want to get the right idea or the wrong idea
turn
for
it
us.
on.
Yeah, we could
Okay.
sit here around the corner.
Ready? I have Q, so we'll go fast.
Let's see. Okay. Doesn't matter, but you still clean house here. But this is the perfect time. Like, look if you RE.
Towards
Like,
anybody.
RE
Yeah.
onto the trundle there. That's the time. Like, that's the scenario when you would use an RE
That's
combo
more
right there.
CC than what
That's game.
I've been doing. Like
Oh,
it doesn't make sense. It's a better method for what I
Like,
was
when
doing.
we can
Yeah.
go in
Wave.
like
Yeah,
that,
like, you don't always have to do RE. Like, I
Yeah,
feel
we
like
just
I'm a
gotta bait
little
'em out.
too,
Yeah.
like,
Do that with power.
overhyped on RE
Yeah.
combo specifically. But that's, like, the
this
scenario to do. Like, we've
actually-
seen a couple. Like, I just wanted to highlight, you know,
It feels bad
in this
indeed.
fight, we've seen all three scenarios. If you lead with W, lead with RW, or
We
lead
actually
with
played a
RE.
comp where,
Like,
we tried
just
hard
to
and we
highlight
fucking
specifically,
went
these
all
are
out. It's
three
sad.
clear-cut
I mean, they
examples
did play
of
the
when
Kassadin into
to
Malachi
use the different
and
ones. But yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
Kassadin would
So,
have just been dead.
I need to
would've
go to
been
bed. I'm
dead
looking at
in
a
the
house
mid
in the
lane,
morning,
yeah.
but
Yep.
I'm not going to be playing any games tomorrow because I hurt my hand at work today, so I need to
Okay.
rest that for a bit.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I was watching the clock. I was trying to wrap it up for you.
Oh,
Sorry.
good.
Yeah,
Y'all
this
have a
is
good.
like an hour and a half of really dense stuff. But
Oh yeah.
I hope it helps. And
Oh,
again,
it helps a lot.
you don't need to retain all of it or even most of it. Just like as long as you can find one thing to take away from it that you can help, you know,
I should use my E more.
refocus yourself. Even like if you're like it helps you be like, oh, I need to focus on doing this. But yeah, anything that helps you, I think is beneficial. And then if you want, we can go over my game like another day.
I would like that.
But or you can watch it or whatever. But yeah, there's some good stuff in that too, and some good parallels to how I would play out fights. Like there's actually like some really good. Honestly, there's a lot of really fights that like are really similar to yours, and like a lot of the things I stress in your VOD, I do in mine. So like I looked at it, and I was like, wow, this is actually like perfect. You know, like a perfect game to side by side. But yeah.
Cool.
So we can do that at a later date if you'd like. I will put this up
Read
on
read
YouTube for you as
BNJ's
well.
notes.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
I
The-
will. I leave.
yeah.
Have fun.
Okay. Goodbye, Leper. Good night. Enjoy your house viewing.
Yes.